There we go. We're live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Shawn.
Hello, Chris, and welcome to This Podcast Does Not Have a Name, episode 4 for October 12th, 2021. How's it going, Chris?
Not too bad. October 4th, really?
Oh, 14th.
Oh,
No,
14th.
sorry, 12th. Wow, 12th. Sorry. Did I say 4th?
I think you said 4th. And you
I,
got me confused because I work nights and I normally confuse of what day it is.
yeah, I said, in my head, I said 12th, but I believe you.
Yeah,
Anyway, moving on in life.
yes, moving on. October 12th, that's what day it is.
Mhm.
So, this podcast is usually us talk about our weekend, some gaming, anime, movie news, whatever we feel like talking about. We're not going to go over all of it, just some big events and random things we like. Uh, to start off, we'll go into our week. Do you want to start up or should I?
Go ahead.
Okay. Not too much on my end, just continuing on with the, the Super Sentai series I was on. Time Ranger. Pretty good so far, not too bad. It's weird that the series is just about them trying to stop these villains, I guess just normal criminals from the year 3000 who have gotten back in time to the year 2000. Uh, it's just weird for them just being petty criminals. And the villain just wants to make money. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't care about anything else, doesn't care about destroying the earth. So stakes are really low in terms of the Time Rangers. I'm on like episode 17 right now. So I'm going on pretty fast. And the other thing, I guess, I was playing a bit of Drummer Squad. I did 2 chapters in it. I've really been enjoying it so far. It's a turn-based tactical RPG uh, with the setting of a Super Sentai series. So, if you don't know, it was kickstarted quite a few years ago. I'm finally getting into playing it. I did kickstart it, and it's about five ex-stunt performers from a Super Sentai series who's got fed up with their uh, their director not listening to them or not wanting any of their inputs and just bad mouthing them a lot of the time during the show and going, "That's it, we've had enough. We're gonna start our own Super Sentai series with blackjack and hookers." Well, maybe not those two parts, but they leave and start up their own series. I really like for those who have kickstarted it. So before you actually start the series, there's like a pre-chapter thing that kind of explains them starting up the series. And as a Kickstarter backer, you could choose the normal opening or the Kickstarter opening. And I did the Kickstarter one because I wanted to see what it was. And it's very tongue in cheek, along with the rest of the series, with making fun of like Super Sentai and low budget stuff. And in this one, after the stunt performers leave, they all gather up like a couple blocks together or a couple blocks down from where they were originally filming and go, "We should make our own series. Like, how do we get started?" And one of the Rangers goes, "I've heard of this thing called Kickstarter. Have you guys heard of it? It's this great website where people get together and can give you money directly to help fund small projects and make your dreams come true." I'm like, really, this is really, really on the nose here, guys. But that kind of sets up for the rest of the series of just how not serious they're going to be about their storytelling. I've really enjoyed it. Like when you're making the series, they make a lot of comments of like, this guy in our suit is supposed to show up here like 5 minutes ago. Where is he? The guy shows up and he's like in half his outfit, like on set while they're filming. They go, "Where's the rest of your suit?" "Oh, sorry, I didn't have time to get it." And he runs in the back to go get it. And the actor's like, "We don't have time to wait for him. Let's go out to the other set here. He wasn't supposed to be in this shot anyway." And they just leave. And I like to think that that's actually what's going on in the show. Like people are just interrupting them mid show, or they're just talking in like the third person. No, uh, like talking directly to the cameraman of where they should be setting up shots and, and things like that. Uh, the upgrades to your kit that your characters get are like, you know, You start off with normal clothes and cardboard armor, and then you upgrade to less shit plastic armor into hopefully spandex and real plastic armor. I think it's a very good tactical RPG if you can get around the Super Sentai aesthetic. It really is. If you can't stand Super Sentai, I wouldn't. It may not be up your alley for that, but I enjoy it so far for what it is. That's pretty much all I've been doing. Is just that and catching up more on Power Rangers or Super Sentai while I'm at work. And you?
I was gonna address a
Oh,
couple
yes.
of your points
Sorry.
first. Um, so for the Super Sentai, I remember you saying last week you didn't really enjoy it, and now you're like breezing through it, like episode
Well,
18. Oh,
it's not
so that's
that. Um, the last series ended kind of meh. It was a disappointment, which some of them could be good or, meh endings, right? Depending on how quickly they want in the series. This new one, I was just like, it's all right. They're just getting started. I just got introduced to the new characters, and we'll see how it goes. It's not super great. It's not super good. It's just good enough, right? And I can watch like 2 or 3 episodes in a night when when I'm at work. Like watch half an episode or most of an episode on a break. So I can fly through the series pretty fast.
And then yeah, I saw you on your stream when you were streaming the Super Sentai game. I remember you telling me about this game that you, at the time, it was on Kickstarter. And you're like, oh, I have to kickstart this. This was like years ago, like
Hmm.
six years ago at least. I want to say.
It
So
was,
that was a long time you wait for that payoff, Chris.
well,
You kickstarted and then
I played it before and I only made it past the first chapter, and then something must have come up to distract me to go on to something else. I'm not sure what that was. But now that I'm doing it on stream, I want to get through it and see more of the game. I don't know how many chapters or seasons, I guess is what the chapters are broken into. Like, I don't know how many seasons there are in the game. So, uh, I'm willing to see how far it'll go. I wonder if it just keeps on going. I don't know how many random events or different random events happen. And I don't know if it was kickstarted, like if I have to play it more, if it's a mod or something. But originally in the Kickstarter, they want to meet their goal. I don't know if it was made to have it where you could do a Common Rider kind of series. So you get 1 or 2 Rangers in the series, and it goes through this, you making a Common Rider type series, and I want to see how tough or easy that would be, or if they have alternate storylines for that. This game also has I don't know where it is. I think I have to download it separately or as part of the game, but a way for you to make episodes and make seasons. So people can download your little stories you make in the game. I want to see what other things people might have made for that. I don't know if I'll do that on stream or not, but we'll
is
see when I get through this.
is that officially supported like in the game itself, or is it just like a mod you have to download?
Not a mod. It is officially supported, but I don't know if it's in the game out from the get-go, or if I have to download a separate like little client for it. I did not look that deep into it, but apparently you can make your own episodes
Interesting. Hmm.
in something or in stuff. So that's a nice little thing to add into this little indie game.
I remember commenting on your stream at the time. I said, "Wow, this game's right up your alley. Like, there's even cosplay that like you spend money on." I'm like, "Wow, this is like hitting you from both angles, huh?"
Yeah, cheap cardboard cosplay and stuff like that. It really it kind of feels like that. It's it's got a lot going for me in general for the aesthetic and the way they're telling their story and that. So I've been enjoying it a lot more than I think I enjoyed it when I originally played it. And also, actually no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry, you could go on. I had a thought in my head and it just kind of evaporated.
So for me, I think you mentioned before the stream started that something's new with me here. I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know what
what
you're
it
talking about.
is. Yeah. Anyways,
You had a haircut, one
got
singular hair.
yes, well, one hair. Okay, okay, man.
It's
Anyways,
like Homer, he has three, and you cut one and he looks bald.
so I just been doing well. I've been applying for jobs in my field really, really like hardcore this last week. I
Mm.
got an interview tomorrow afternoon actually, so
Oh, nice.
hopefully that leads somewhere. If not, whatever. Other than that, been doing some twitching as usual. We beat Undertale, and then we started Bloodstained Symphony of not Symphony of the Night. Ritual no, not Ritual of the Moon. Shit, what's it called? Bloodstained
Bloodstained.
Ritual of the Night. think. I think that's the correct
The
subtitle.
3D Bloodstained game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was the one that was also kickstarted by Igarashi-san,
yeah.
Iga. Um, so I beat the game, but we're not done 100% yet. We have to still, explore the whole map, get all the items crafted, do all the quests and all that. So still got a little ways to go on that still. That's what I've been doing. And then also on Saturday on my Twitch community, they met 100,000 channel points, which I call Zorb's Orbs. They raised 100,000, and so the incentive was I'll do a Final Fantasy 10 speed run. It will be my first run. World record in that game is hovering somewhere in the area of 8.5 hours because you can't skip all the cutscenes. You have to just like power through them. So there's like cutscene after cutscene after cutscene.
Mhm.
I used a 26-page document. It was a PDF that basically tells you what to do. And yeah, I was hoping for a sub 10-hour run. Instead, we got like just over 12 hours. So it was fun, but it was also very. I've done 12-hour streams before, but that
Mhm.
took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me. I spent the rest of the next day, Sunday, just like recovering. I took 2 naps that day, which is very unusual for me. Yeah, my sleep schedule is still kind of fucked up from that, but yeah, it is what it is. So that was that was intense. Got some good viewership, got some good support from that stream. So, oh, did I say this already? We beat, yeah, I said that we beat Undertale.
Yep, you did say that.
Again, I know I said this last week, so I won't harp on the point, but I think that's a game you'll enjoy a lot, Chris. So yeah, next up will be Hollow Knight once I'm done on Bloodstained. So
Do you
kind of,
have it and the DLCs?
it's like the Ultimate Edition. So yes,
Okay, you should have.
it all comes in one.
That's
So
good. That'll
yeah, I
take
knew.
you a while.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I did Bloodstained first because I knew it was going to take like half the time that Hollow Knight was going to. So, what else? What else have I done? There was one other thing, but I forget what it was now. It'll come back to me, but
Yeah, we can always
um,
come back.
yeah, that's it for now for me. Not really all too much. Just been really pushing. There was like 3 days this week since we last spoke, which basically all I did was like basically apply for jobs all day.
Hmm,
Uh, and
that's always
then the
fun.
day Yeah, and then the days I was streaming, I still apply for jobs, but like maybe one or two, and then I just streamed for however long. I had some really long streams this week, like the 12-hour Final Fantasy 10. I had a 10-hour stream. I had like an 8-hour stream. So basically, I'm either streaming or I'm applying for jobs. That was my week, pretty much.
Yeah, if you got nothing else other than that to do, you might as well try and stream. You've been enjoying it, so might as well keep doing it. You probably be playing a lot of these games anyway on your off time. So,
Yeah, for the most part, I've been wanting to play Bloodstained for a while. Now that it's Halloween, I figured, hey, perfect time to play these spooky games, right? I've had
yep.
these games for years, just haven't had the opportunity, and yeah, they've been really fun. Um,
Net gameplay, Spooky's Scare Mansion, or whatever that game's called.
Jupi's what?
Spooky's, I think that's what it's called. Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion.
I've never heard of this. I've heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, but not Spoopy's Jump Scare
I
Mansion.
think it's Spooky's. I think I miss said Spooky. It said Spoopy. Oops. But yes, I don't know if it's cost anything or if it's free or what, but I've seen a few people play through that. Uh, I don't know if it's a game you want to play, but it's there.
Why?
Oh no,
Why do you
nothing.
say?
Just it's it's very, I guess, tongue in cheek with its kind of humor. You're exploring a mansion, many, many floors of a mansion, and there's jump scares and other things that I did not personally play it, so I don't know to the extent of how many floors or how spooky or not spooky people might think it is. So, but I do like some of the humor in it when Spooky shows up. I think that's the ghost's name. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what's his name's humor there, who does Undertale, but not quite. It's kind of
W
like,
Fox?
yeah, but not quite. It's not really that kind of humor, but it's that kind of like, hey, boo, I scared you. No, 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 I'm just gonna go over here. Bye, guys. And then the ghost leaves. It's like, oh, see ya. And then, like kind of like not humor, but or not scared, not humor, but kind of is. It's like
Okay.
lazy humor in a way.
I think you should do Tale of or Tale. I think you should do Undertale on your stream, or even just for yourself. I think you'll enjoy it.
I will have to play through it at some point. I want to go through that, and I want to do the
It
other
won't take
games
long.
as well.
It won't take long. Deltarune.
Deltarune, that's it. So I'll have to get a hold of those games. I know I've got Undertale somewhere, but I'll go touch on that at some point. But I think that's it. I don't have much else going on with me. Not really anything. Do we want to jump into a little bit of news? Maybe some news that's like we did not know about until we finished our stream last week?
Sure. It seems like you have something specific to say, though.
Yes, I do. Why isn't Waluigi in Smash? Fuck's sakes. We might. I don't think that we touched on this last week, but we might have.
I
But
think we did a little bit.
but there was other news that was attached to this that we did not mention. I'm just upset that Waluigi's not in Smash. They should have had the last Smash character be a Nintendo property, and not bloody Sora. I'm not upset that Sora's in. I'm just upset that he got the last slot. Should have been Waluigi. Anyway, other news that was attached to that was that Square is going to be releasing the Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, and I believe uh, does 2.8 have Kingdom Hearts 3 or is Kingdom Hearts 3 separate? But they're gonna be releasing like all those collections and Kingdom Hearts 3 onto the Switch, but not as a physical item that you could pop into your Switch and play, but as part of the streaming service that's, correct me if I'm wrong, Square has been looking into or has already done on Switch. I want to say they've already done it with Tomb Raider or the Hitman games, but I don't remember for sure if it was something they were looking into at the time, like a year or two ago.
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is not included in 2.8. It's its own separate
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
So it's not even just not physical. It's also like you can't have it on your hard drive. It's not digital either in that sense. It's digital in the sense that it's on the cloud, but you need a constant internet connection. Like you can't just download it like you can um like a digital game, and then that's it. You have to have a constant internet connection for this. So people were suspecting that this is going to happen eventually, and
Mm,
now it finally has because basically, you know, they already have these games on the other two consoles and even PC at this point, but the kind of take the extra, manpower, extra millions of dollars, whatever, to kind of make it work on the Switch, just because the Switch is so limited in its functionality due to its hardware that they just said, fuck it. We're gonna put it on the cloud, and you guys will just have to deal with it that way. But you can't really blame. Okay, for me at least, I don't blame Square for that at all because if we look at the history of this sort of thing, we'll see that they did the smart move, honestly. Like, for example, CD Projekt Red, when they released Witcher 3 on the Switch, it took them 11 months to port it to the Switch, right? 11 months for The Witcher 3. Just think about that for a second. Just a port. Just a port. The game is complete. It's been out for years at this point.
mm,
Just porting it took almost a full year. That's crazy, right? Because there's been so many like yeah, Nintendo is never really up to date with their hardware, and it's really starting like they can't continue this trend anymore because this is really what developers are not going to have a choice, right? So instead of spending 11 months, Square said fuck it, like for that was for one game, so they have to do it for all three games. So yeah, they didn't want to take the time and or the money. They just said put on the cloud, let's be done with it. Because when the Switch first came out, originally it was only going to have 2 gigabytes, but then Capcom, I think it was Capcom, they said, hey, Nintendo, uh, add more RAM, please. At least add more RAM. 2 gigs of RAM is nothing. So they actually did. They upgraded to 4 gigs, and yeah, that was only because Capcom kind of like scolded them to do so, essentially. So that was people are upset at Square. They shouldn't. They should be upset at Nintendo, in my opinion. What do you think?
Um, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are PS2 games. You're saying that those can't run on the Switch. And the
No, no,
other
no,
games are advanced games and DS games and
no. These
PSP
are.
games.
I have to correct you. These are not PS2 games and such. These are the HD versions. So that these are optimized for like.
For 720 on the Switch.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
The Switch
these
is a 720p console.
yeah, but these games are optimized, I believe, for PS4 and Xbox One, I believe, and then for PC. So yeah, these are not the PS2 versions. These are like the HD
So the
re-release version.
PS3 versions then.
I don't know, honestly.
Because
I think it's a PS4 version. I could be
but
wrong.
that would be it would be pointless to do the PS4 versions if the Switch can only do certain resolution on its screen.
I've lost track of. I know for a fact it's not the PS2 version, but I've lost track of it's PS3, PS4. Like
But
they keep
either way,
re-releasing.
I don't know how they would not be able to get those older games. I can understand Kingdom Hearts 3. That's a brand new game. But the other games are so old, the Switch could handle them. I'm not a developer, but I don't see why they couldn't put the effort to put those in. I also don't like it because it's cloud only, not even digital. So there's no way for people to physically have it on their hard drives. So anyone without a constant internet connection or a good internet connection will not be able to play these games because it will just be constantly eating up bandwidth. And a lot of places in the States, that will be an issue for. Lots of places in Canada, that can be an issue for if you're not in one of the big cities. So I think this is really shitty.
I don't
And
blame Square though. I don't.
I'm not personally blaming Square alone. It's not them their fault alone, but I think that they could have at least put the other games or tried to find a way to do that. I don't know, but they're both to blame. And this isn't, the first time that Square has done something similar, not quite, but similar to this in a fashion, like the Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 versions on Switch and PS, was it Switch and on the PS Vita, only had one game on the carts, and you had to download the other ones. So them not putting both games that could fit on those carts, they opted to not do that. And there was other things like that as well. Like,
I mean, you don't really have any evidence. Like they could have, but then maybe they had to like increase the RAM on or the ROM rather on the cards, right? Like you don't know that for a fact, Chris, right? Like they could have definitely. That's like saying, you could put like a 500 mega or gigabyte game. You could, but then the cost would increase, right? Like we don't know for a fact.
how much the Switch and PS Vita carts can hold.
No, we know the max capacity, but for example, if you look at Metroid Dread that just came out, that's a 4.1 gigabyte game only, right? They're not going to like make consumers buy a 256 gigabyte card when only like a 8 gigabyte card would suffice. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't need to add more than they need to kind of keep.
Well, yes, but if I buy a physical cart, we'll say in terms of like the Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, if I buy that physical cart, I don't want a download code for my game. I want the games on those carts.
Cards? Are you saying cards or carts? D or T?
Carts. Like the Switch carts and the PS Vita carts.
Carts with a D, right?
Yes. Well, T, cart.
Well, Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. Final Fantasy X was never on the cart at all, except for maybe the Switch, right?
PS Vita. PS Vita,
That's
it's basically the same thing. It's just a memory chip. That's what
I
the Switch carts
thought it
are.
had the UMDs, the
No,
CD
that's the
things.
PSP. PS Vita is the upgrade to that.
Okay. I never
And
had that.
they brought out that those consoles or those two games on that, but only put one game on the cart and said you have to use this download code to download the next game. But if I'm buying a physical cart, I want both games on that.
I understand, but I think that's extremely off tangent just because we're talking about the cloud versus now we're kind of
Well, yeah, but they could. I
other areas.
I think they could have worked more to get all those old games, not including number three, but the other three collections, 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and they could have got them to work on the Switch. Not they don't even like I. There's no way for anyone who owns them on Switch to actually own them. And if Square's service ever goes down or your internet goes down, you don't have access to your games that you just purchased. And Square, I don't know if they put a price on there, but looking at what they put them out on the Epic Store for these old games for $80 each, when I could get them on the PS4 for like $20, I don't see what them releasing them on Switch for less than 60 to 80 Canadian and not having physical access to those is shitty.
So I'm someone that doesn't really like speculation about, they could do this or they couldn't have done that. But I'm not sure if you watched that video I linked on the Discord, but it's there's a YouTuber, he goes by Modern Vintage Gamer. He is a Switch developer. He's done ports like the Shantae ports on the
Hmm.
Switch himself. So I trust his opinion. He knows what he's talking about. And he kind of called this. He called the fact that they were going to a lot of companies, Square's just being the first one to kind of put their foot through the door. But he called that developers were going to eventually go ahead and do this because it's a smart thing to do. And you can't like businesses exist to make money, right? They don't exist to make you happy, else they would give the games away for free. So yeah, this was the smartest thing for them to do in terms of cost. And again, the whole Witcher 3 thing on the Switches I got from him as well. I got that information from him in another video. Basically, like if it takes CD Project Red, I don't know if you'd qualify them as a triple A publisher. I would personally because they have the biggest pre-order of all time through Cyberpunk.
Hmm.
But let's not talk about how that turned out. But they did have the biggest pre-order of all time. That's a fact. So I don't know. For that reason alone, I would consider them a triple A publisher. So it took a triple A publisher almost a year to do one of their most famous games at the time. Well, it was their most famous game at the time to port that on Switch. So the Kingdom Hearts, and like I'm pretty sure, like I know your point. To your point of these are PS2 games originally, but yeah, as you said, like Kingdom Hearts 3 is like and then you have the other two games as well. You have to worry about that had new features and new graphics and new audio and cleaned up whatever
Hmm.
on the new releases. That's a lot of additional resources when they can just say screw it, let's just put it on the cloud and be done with it. So again, that's I don't blame Square at all for that, and I wouldn't blame any publisher for that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put squarely up the blame on them. It's just I wish it was a alternative or a way to get them all on there for people who want to actually own their games and not have to be connected to the internet constantly. Like I've got internet connection where I am all the time, but there's lots of people who don't. So I'm just thinking about them and also, preservation of these games because anything could happen. Like, you could turn on the console. Wouldn't it be weird if like I don't know, you open up your phone to connect to Facebook and Facebook just wasn't there, like what happened last week. We'll just
Yeah, I think
we'll
I don't
shift the topic
I don't
to
really yeah. Anyways,
like face Facebook went down for what, a day or two? It was just gone in every single service connected to them. It just wouldn't work. So what's that?
that
WhatsApp and Instagram, I think, and maybe a few others. And apparently their doors were linked to their servers, so they couldn't swipe their cards to get into the buildings or out of the building or whatever. I don't know the extent of what happened, but I don't use Facebook personally.
I don't use it anymore either for years, but rumor has it, well, they timed the downage of the Facebook at the same time when the whistleblower's report came out. This is not
Oh.
something I thought we were gonna cover, Chris. So I didn't
I
really take
it
a major
kind of
look
just
into it.
went here, so I don't have the information
Right,
up either. I just wanted to
but
briefly bring it up.
yeah, basically, there's a whistleblower about something about like I don't know what specifically about, but basically she came out and she kind of there's a Congress thing, and then there's going to be a law backlash. So Facebook purposely, or sorry,
Mhm.
accidentally,
Yeah,
I should say,
accidentally.
accidentally had the service go offline around the same time. So to kind of damage control it as much as they could.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem suspicious. Nothing to see here, guys. Move along.
Yep,
Yeah,
pretty much.
but yeah, it's just, their service went down as more and more things are being bought up by these bigger companies and being reliant on online always. As soon as one of those servers goes down, you have access to like a quarter of the stuff you used, or not a quarter. You don't have access to like a quarter of the stuff you're used to. Like lots of people rely on, we'll say, Facebook or Google or the Amazon stuff all the time. And if any of those goes down, their life is kind of in shambles for like until that's fixed, if they could get fixed, right? So it's kind of a reality that we live in as more and more things are heavily reliant on online. It kind of sucks. I just wanted to kind of bring that up because of the Square thing. If their service goes down, you can't have access to your games, right? So, well, I guess not the Square or Nintendo, whichever servers are being hosted for that. So,
Yeah, it's not really any different from like things that have already existed, like Stadia. Like that's one of the
oh,
major things that
Stadia, rip.
That's one of the major reasons why Stadia, isn't doing that great. Like Stadia did their whole thing based on cloud gaming, and then Xbox's Game Pass cloud gaming just blew them out of the water. It wasn't even the main attraction of Game Pass. It's just like, hey, you can play it on your web browser, plug it in a controller, there you go, have fun. And then Stadia says, oh, you need your console or controller and all this shit, and you have to pay this month, and you have to buy the games if you want to play them on the cloud, in addition to the monthly fee. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's awful.
it's nothing really new, so I don't think
No, it's
from
just,
that
oh,
that
go ahead,
angle
sorry.
we can really criticize it that much because it's not like it's a new thing.
Hmm.
That's why I'm saying, like, we should blame Nintendo, if anyone.
Yeah, it's just it's a service that they were looking at, and obviously other big developers were looking, no, not developers, companies were looking at to kind of get in on or figure out a way to get it on there. Because them getting on the Switch, then they can maybe, figure out, the mobile ports if they're gonna do mobile, because mobile phones are getting stronger and other things like that. So it's not it's just a continuation from what they were looking to get into. I'm not happy about it because there's no physical product. It's all going to be online only. But whatever, I know I'm not going to get it, but there are a lot of people who may look at getting this because, they don't want the physical product or they don't have room on their Switch for another download, right? Things like that. So that's it. Bring up kind of two views on the side or on that story. Do you have anything you want to bring up? Because we'll swap to a different story here.
Yeah, so this is a game I actually might be playing for fun because I don't have to pay for it, and because
Oh,
I'm gonna play with, Ryan and Chad and Delana, as you know.
the game.
Uh, so Marvel's Avengers, here's
Ooh.
the thing, it just came out on Game Pass, and there's some very shady stuff
Oh,
because of it.
oh.
Not due to Game Pass, just due to so remember when the game launched and they're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, let's talk about for like just a sentence or two, like their massive fuck up. Like how like they took arguably one of the most famous franchises right now, the MCU, and they somehow screwed the pooch and made a very unplayable game due to their decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the gameplay loop involved. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. So when the game, like when they it got announced at one of the E3s a few years ago, they made a promise to everyone saying this game will never have loot boxes or XP boosters or any of that stuff. And now they added them to the game actually. So they went against the word And it's funny because as soon as it launched on Game Pass, as you know, if you have Game Pass, you can download the game. It's like Netflix. You download, you play it, whatever, right?
Hmm.
So they had like a XP week or weekend or something. Like I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks of like increased experience. The kind of what's the word I'm looking for to kind of um
Entice
get
people,
players. No, no, not so much enticement, just
get
acclimate. I think that's
get
the word I'm
people
looking
up
for.
to speed.
No, no, no. There had like increased XP boosts when the game launched on Game Pass specifically. Like they timed it for this to acclimate people to these XP rates to kind of get
Mm,
them kind of used to them. And then they cut them off. And then right after that, they said, "Hey, here's some XP boosters," even though we promised they'd never be in the game.
hmm.
And yeah, they are overcharging the fuck out of everything now. Like all the cosmetics, which is fine. Like you don't need the cosmetics, but some people care about that stuff. And yeah, like most people are like, oh, who cares? But you have to be aware there are some people who like really give a shit about that sort of thing. And now they're adding XP boosters onto that. Now they're adding, as I said before, like loot boxes. So everything they promised they weren't going to do, they're breaking their word at this point. So
Yeah,
people are really pissed off at this already, you know, game that is not great, and that's why it's on Game Pass. Because think about it this way: the game's been out for like what 2 years at this point, and now it's coming to Game Pass. That's kind of that signals that they're in trouble and they needed the cash boost.
mm. They also at the beginning of this year they did make the game a lot more grindier, so you couldn't gain levels as fast as you could before. They cut down how much experience you get and other things like that, which people went against them on that, and I think they kept the that grindiness in there. So them now putting in EXP boosters, does that bring the rate back up to what it normally was? But either way.
I don't know, but yeah, their excuse at the time was we don't want to confuse players with getting too many levels too quickly. Oh, okay. But then you're willing to put XP boosters and increase XP weekends. It's
And
like,
confuse
why?
players with
Oh
more.
my god.
Yeah, it. They
Ugh.
took the slow road on the sliminess, but it's there. And you said they increased the price of some of the skins and stuff too, as well.
I'm not sure if they increased it, but they're
Oh,
really
oh,
expensive.
but they're just expensive overall. Okay.
They're cosmetic, so you can make the case either way. You can make
Yeah,
the argument.
I have no
But
idea
but
how much it
still,
costs, but like, well, I played Dead by Daylight, and I think I bought one skin on there. And I was like, yeah, I spent a lot of money on this. I only buy the licensed characters because the only way to get the licensed killers and survivors in that game is to spend money, and the rest of the stuff is the rest of the survivors and killers are you could spend money or you could earn coin in game to unlock them. So I'm like, I only spend it on like half the characters of that. I'll buy this costume for this character, or this killer I play sometimes. It's a hobo clown who's dressed up like Santa Claus.
sounds like that one character from
You know
shit.
Barney
What?
in The Simpsons when he was dressed up as Santa at the mall and he's like
Yep.
stumbling over the kids? It's basically that. He whips bottles filled with mystery fluid at people and they cough and things get woozy and then he beats them down with it with his little shiv.
What was that PS2 game? Like Black Met Twisted? No, not Twisted Metal. Was it Twisted
Twist
Metal?
Metal
Like Black?
Black, where you have the clown guy with the
Yeah,
arrow fighter.
him.
Yeah,
That's
Twisted
what I
Metal.
was thinking of. That's the guy who popped in my head as you're
No,
talking.
it's a lot more sadder. He's a drunk clown who lost his job at the circus, and the only thing he has left is booze. Yeah, he's pretty sad.
I noticed your Ginyu Force in the background with the proper pose.
Damn right. And you can't barely see him. I got Beerus underneath pole dancing Vegeta. But yeah, I got them. They're all set up.
Nice.
But yeah,
So, yeah,
uh,
that's it for that. I just wanted to kind of bring up the fact that yes, a shitty game is a shitty game. That's not really new news, but a
them
company
making
breaking
it.
their promise.
Mm,
That's something that you should never forget. They
yeah,
literally they legit came on the stage and they said, "We promise this will
yeah,
never be in the game."
I remember them saying that. And then here it is. So yeah, definite signs of this game's done.
Pretty
Spider-Man's
much.
still not in the game.
Yeah, I was actually just about to gonna say that, like, he's still not on the PlayStation version of the game. When I heard about this game and I said my favorite character is only gonna be locked onto that one console, okay, I'll never gonna play this game. And then he's still not out. He's still not out after, like, what, 2 years?
Mm,
Anyways, we can move
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
from
We'll move on. Continuation from one of the last week's update stories when we talked about we did talk about Hitman and what was going on with there,
yeah,
them removing bad or just in general the review bombing. Yeah, that's it. Bad reviews and such. It seems they've removed the game entirely, I believe, from G.O.G. And they're looking at, I think, revising the game to either they're going to update the game to say that it has all of these online components and DRM, or they're going to look into how they could get removed while working with Square. But don't sorry, yeah, because the
so
store is supposed to be built on anti-DRM uh, games. Like there's no DRM in all the games. Hitman was the first one. There was a huge backlash. Sorry,
so
go on.
I need to correct you on something.
Yes, go ahead.
They're not planning on adding or getting rid of, I should say, DRM, right? Because this is an old game, and considering how old it is in this year, like they never said they're gonna get rid of the DRM in it. Like it's not up to COG or GOG, I guess.
Yeah, it's up to
GOG,
Square.
yes. And considering how old the game is, they're probably not gonna
Okay,
worry.
I
And
must have
yeah, they
misread something quickly, but
so basically what they did do is take the game off completely because they said, "Oh, you're right.
mm,
We should never have sold this." So they admitted to their error, and that was simply because of the massive backlash to that forum post we talked about
yeah.
last week. That's basically it.
Oh, I
Basically,
sorry, I must have misread something. I thought I read something here that they were looking to maybe getting it fixed, but I guess their fix is just remove it. So I thought maybe they were going to look into Square and say, is there any way to remove this? Or is this going to be like one of the exceptions, which would just make
well,
it look
no,
bad in the store and they'll have a DRM game on here, which I'd still be like, even if you say it, that's not what your platform's built on. But go on.
yeah, like it obviously they can't change a game's files, so then that's not their business. It's a storefront, so
Yeah, so unless the
yeah.
Square wanted to work with
Square
them to change it, which I thought I had I misread something in that little bit, but the rest of it, them removing the game completely is what happened. That seems to be their fix and their apology of sorry. I thought they
I don't
would
know what happens to people who already bought it. They probably get to keep it, I'm assuming, or at least get a full refund
I would
in that case.
assume refunds. I don't know if the game would then stay on their servers. I didn't buy it. I don't know anyone that did, so I could not say. I did not look into if someone bought it. I'm assuming that they'll get their refund for it. So they'd have to do one or the other. They either have to leave it on the store but hidden so that people who bought it can keep downloading it, or they'll have to give them a refund and just remove the game from their profile, right? So yeah.
Apparently, the
Ooh,
game has online
yep.
fun functionality, so that's why the DRM exists at all,
Yeah,
apparently.
there was lots of if it's the same as the other ones, like you do certain things in the game, like rewards and stuff, and you get them unlocked through online, or log online and do this special hit, and you can unlock cosmetics for this weapon or different kind of weapons and outfits. I think is what it was. They've expanded on that in the newer games, but it's basically some online hits or do special things, and you can unlock these other rewards. So that's what the online was for. I don't know how much in total for the online component there was, but I know it was something that they were building on to make it as part of their kind of live service. Not quite a live service, but keep the game in the memory or in the minds, back in the minds of the players while they're not playing the game, so they'll keep coming back to it, right? Like in the newest or the second newest not D, Hitman game, they had a quest where you can kill Sean Bean because Sean Bean was agent was it 006 in the Bond
Yeah,
games and other things like
Trevelyan.
that. So they had him kind of show up there, and it was a good quest. I want to say as part of the quest, he like acknowledged that like that someone was there to kill him. And he's making quotes like, if someone was to say in this room, kill me, how would they do it? I wonder. And he's like talking, kind of fourth wall breaking, I think is what happened in that quest. And you're sitting in the boardroom as the hitman going, I could take him out that way or this way or right. So they kind of have him break the wall as he's non-directly talking to you of how to take him out. But it was a quest to take him out in the game. And also kind of funny thing on his movie career as he's always being killed in everything he's in. So I don't think he's survived anything yet.
I'm sure he has. You're right. I can't think of anything though.
Yeah, I can't think of anything offhand, but yeah, just a quick little update. They're removing the game, I guess, entirely, and it looks like it may not be popping up unless if Square says, "Yeah, we'll work with you to remove it." But again, like you said, it's this is like the first Hitman, first of the reboots of the Hitman games, right? So they're probably not going to do that for those games.
No.
Unfortunately, not. Um, yeah. What else? We could talk about, if you want to, the California update. Sorry, oh no, an update to the Activision Blizzard um, buyout. Not buyout.
Oh, sorry. I was
Act,
zoning out. Say the last sentence
the
again.
Activision Blizzard last week, or was it the week before that we talked about when they did a payout, not payout, buyout for the one of the lawsuits going that was going to happen
Yes.
to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we, I think a lot of people commented on, wow, that was fast. That was only like, 2 days. Well, now we kind of know why. It makes total sense. It's definitely not this reason, but it totally is.
Yeah. So apparently they got caught shredding evidence again. This is separate from the first time it happened. So basically, they're really deep shit. Like if they're shredding that much evidence by law, by federal law, or maybe it's not federal, but state or federal law, whichever one applies in the situation. By law, they're not supposed to be shredding this when they're under investigation.
Mhm.
Being caught twice, even if it's two separate cases against them by different organizations. What I'm not sure if that's the case here, but whatever it is, they got caught twice. This is the second time,
Mhm.
and they are really deep in the shitter right
Well,
now.
well, the reason why they wanted to pay off the is it the EOC very quickly is because let me get this up here. So, sorry, let me backtrack. California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a motion to intervene in that in the EOC and Activision like buyout for whatever however many millions of dollars it was because there is a clause within that Activision Blizzard will be able to remove any allegations of sexual harassment from the personal files of the claimants in that settlement or in that statement. So that means they could just immediately wipe out tons of evidence from the California Department's claim on them. And that would be a lot. So they wanted to buy out and bury this as fast as possible. And this will give them a legal reason to shred documents. So yeah, it's
But they still got in trouble for it, right? That's the thing. Like they still, you said that it gives them a legal reason to shred documents, but then why would they be on their ass again for the second offense, right?
what do you mean? So they there were two different groups doing this, but the one they were buying out was going to give them a legal reason to just wipe these people's records clean. The other faction needs those records to be able to continue their lawsuit against them. And Activision Blizzard wanted this evidence gone. So,
Yes, like I think I
yeah,
understand that, but again, we're both Canadian, so we just notice by reading and not really by knowing because it's a different country with different laws. Anyways, um, to my knowledge, once the first freeze on their documents happened, that's it. Nothing else is. Nothing else. No, there's shouldn't be like any legal loopholes in terms of they're allowed to shred stuff now because it's the state that's suing them. So by law, they are not supposed to shred any documents, no matter if they could do it under normal circumstances or whatever legal loopholes that they're trying to pull with this thing now by settling early.
Yeah,
Like
that's not the
that was
case.
my understanding.
No, this would be like whatever was settled through this payoff is, signed by lawyers, all that garbage, and it would have uh, put in this thing that would allow them to legally wipe these people's records of anything that had to do with what they're paying off. So we'll say if you and I are both in both suits, or no, if I'm in one suit and you're in both, right? For the whole sexual harassment thing, but you're paid off in the first one, they can wipe your record clean. So that's half the evidence gone, right? So,
But
but
the first
the
thing
first
trumps
one,
it, right?
no, no,
I thought it did.
because this first one was settled first, so that evidence would no longer exist. Even
That
if the first
I think that's
lawsuit,
incorrect.
huh? Sorry.
I think that's incorrect because the first one was not settled first. It was the one that was there was a second case, and then they settled that within half a day. That would technically have been the second one.
Well,
The
either
first one is still ongoing.
yes, but the other one was settled first, so legally they can, as soon as they want, once that payment goes through and everything's signed, they could just delete that information. And then when the other lawsuit is continuing and they bring up anything in that one that was settled, they say that evidence doesn't exist anymore. And they could just go, no, it doesn't exist. You can't bring that up. Like it's a legal loophole that they can get through.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm fairly confident the first case is still ongoing.
It is still ongoing, but that evidence wouldn't exist because it's gone. That's why they're filing the suit to prevent that buyout from happening, from that payoff happening, because
Well,
that'll affect their case. Like a lot of evidence is resting on those files, and if those files go bye bye, they have half a case, or if a case at all. That's why they want that payout to go out as soon as possible, so that they could put that legal loophole in and just delete everything. Yeah, it's a messy. Uh,
we'll we'll have to continue this conversation next week because I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think the first case still prevents them from doing anything that you said.
if so, then they wouldn't have to file a. They wouldn't have to file to have this stopped. They would just let it go through. There's no way
I'm not getting what you're trying to say right just now.
if if the first case is still ongoing and this payoff had if all the evidence still presented in the first case would still be unaffected by this buyout, lawyers wouldn't be going, no, 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 you can't do that. They are preventing. Activision Blizzard wants this to go through, wants the buyout to go through so that they can shred documents. The guys who first put in there like the not the ELC, the California Department of Fair Employment doesn't want that to go through because they will lose a lot of evidence. They're still gathering evidence and trying to put together their case before they go to court, and that evidence won't exist anymore because of that. Like because that first case will be settled, so they could just legally destroy all evidence they want, as long as it pertains to the people inside of that.
Yeah, I'm reading this article from Kotaku about this, and they don't really have anything that you're saying. Basically, just what I've been saying. So that's what I mean. Let's continue this next week. I think we both need to do more research on this
I'm
because I'm not sure who's correct in this.
but I'm looking at like the where it says that the statement includes a clause which requests that Activision Blizzard be able to remove any allegations of sexual harassment from the personal files from the settlement claims, effectively destroying evidence that is essential to the DFEH's own trial. It would literally rip apart their own trial, the other group's trial.
Yeah, but then look at the title of the article: California steps in to prevent Activision Blizzard
Yes,
destroying sexual harassment evidence.
that's
Right?
what's there. That's why they are filing to stop that. The California Department of Fair Employment is trying to stop the buyout because their evidence will be deleted if that goes through.
I'm gonna repeat, and I think we should move on and continue this next week once we both do more research.
I I am looking at it. It makes sense to me as to why they are stepping in to prevent the buyout, to prevent the payoff, because it will destroy their entire case. Anyway, uh, do you want to bring up anything? Another piece of
Yeah.
news?
So talking about Kotaku, they had an article about Metroid Dread a couple days. It wasn't they had their own separate review, but this is something different about they mentioned, oh hey, wait, let me see when this was published actually. It was published on Saturday. That would have made it the, let's see here, the 9th. So the day after the game came out, they published an article saying, "Hey, Metroid Dread is already running on Switch emulators and it's running really good, like better than the original hardware on your PC, obviously, because you can, you can go to 4K and uncap the frame rate." And there was massive backlash on this article because people are saying, like we understand the importance of emulation and that legally speaking, the emulators themselves, just the emulators we're talking about here, they are legal. They are above the belt. They are legally made. But for you
Mm,
to tell people to, they didn't really tell them to do this. That I shouldn't have said it that way. They kind of just brought everyone's attention to the fact that it plays better on PC and that it's people have already been doing this. It just worded in such a way that they were forced to put an appendum on the very end of their article because the comments are saying like, yeah, there's something off about this because it almost made it seem like there was an intention to, you know, play it better on your PC, which is fair enough, but it's, if you really want to support the developers, because it's not just Nintendo, right? If you really want to support the developers, that you should really just purchase the game. And people are making the argument like preservation is one thing when you can't buy the game anymore, or older games when they don't really run on the hardware. It's hard to find original hardware. But this game literally came out yesterday, and you're telling people that you're
mm.
very indirectly telling people like that. I want to make it clear that they never said, "Hey, play this on your PC." They didn't come out and say it that way. It's just basically just the way it was worded, and there was a lot of consensus about that in the comments section. I read quite a few comments on the article. It has 562 right now, so I didn't read all of them, but I read most of them at the time, and I did see this article the first time, and yeah, it was a lot of backlash on
Mm.
this, so that's kind of interesting. It's really a touchy topic. I can see why it is because it's really, you want your game to look as good as it can. But then, Metroid, if you look at the numbers don't lie. If you look at the numbers, Metroid is one of Nintendo's, I don't want to say worse because it's not a bad game or franchise, but it's one that doesn't sell as much as their other ones like Mario, Zelda, whatever. Metroid is on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to how much cash and how many sales they get from these games.
Mm.
So yeah, for them to kind of do this is almost like sabotaging that effort when you tell them the day after. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I did. I have no idea that, or I had no idea that Switch emulation was that far along already. I went out and bought my copy of Metroid Dread. I can't wait to start it up when I do. But for them to, anyone will say, they cry preservation, yada yada. That makes no sense. This game is like you said, just came out. You can't cry preservation. They can't say, you can't have emulation because emulation is legal. And if you own a copy of the game, a physical one, or I guess now we could throw in digital as well. As long as you own a copy of it, you can emulate. There's nothing illegal about that. Uh, am I missing something? Let me think.
That is very true, but a lot of people who are gonna let's be completely real. I have nothing to support this one way or the other, but you I would very I would find it hard to believe that most people who are emulating it don't already, or like they do have it, is what I'm trying to say. Most people who are playing on their PC already have it, a copy in their hands or digitally on their
You'd
Switch, right?
think so.
I have
Um,
nothing to back that up, but like, let's be real. Like, piracy exists because you don't have to pay for things, right? That's the whole point for the
yeah,
most part.
like a lot of people may say, they're gonna pirate it so they could try it out. If there's like no demo, you could say that that's like a very small percent of people, right? Who use it as a demo. But uh, sorry, I had a point and it's bloody gone. Like I can't say that I haven't downloaded my own things here and there, but I've never claimed I've actually owned anything or that I'm doing it for preservation. I'm doing it because I don't have the money or whatever, right? It's obvious. It's mostly because people don't have money. But it's not like this is I don't think this game's hard to get. I don't think it's been selling out. I would like to think it's not. I would like to think Nintendo's put out enough copies for people to cry that they can't get a copy. Whether it's we'll excuse, if they physically don't have the cash, right? You know, who knows what happened. I don't know. It's don't cry preservation and things like that when it's just plain piracy. If if you're gonna pirate, support them if you can. Not everyone has all the money in the world, but don't uh, don't cry the other things when it's clearly for some people when it's clearly a thing of I just want it, just give it to me for free. Well, the fact that it runs better and the Switch emulation is apparently really good, that surprises me. Not that it runs better, but just that the emulation is good. Like, is it because your computer has more RAM? I think the emulation would be emulate the exact same hardware of the Switch, or did they manage to find a way to up it, like have your PC use more RAM?
Yeah. So as I said at the start, they're upscaling it to 4K, which obviously the Switch can't do.
No,
They're uncapping the frame rate, as I said before as well,
yeah.
and just stuff
So
like that. So
that's
it's
interesting. I didn't know that they could do that, especially like the frame rates and things like that. So,
but as we know, some games are programmed. I'm not sure how. I don't have a Switch, but I'm not sure if like this game on the Switch is specifically capped to a frame rate, because we know a lot of the games, like, this is not new. Like,
mm,
this is existed for as long as games have been out, but some game mechanics or the way they're programmed are tied to frame rate. So we don't know exactly
yeah,
if that's going to have issues. So yeah, I mean, the
is
4K is cool, but really, you knew what you were buying for a Switch. You weren't buying the most powerful console. And granted, maybe you can make the point of, well, this is just the only way to play it if I don't play on my PC. Therefore, I want to get the best possible experience out of it as I can. But
oh,
it's one thing if you actually bought the game.
yes,
That's one thing. Then you can, and it's not, this conversation isn't necessarily even about a moral compass. It's just, you know, doing what's right, because, like, we all work, right? Well, okay, most of us work. And when I say most of us, I'm talking about, like, like, if you're born into a rich family, whatever, maybe you don't work in that situation, but most of us have or had jobs. We all work. We all, basically, playing this especially so soon after it came out, is just like punching the developers in the face, because the same people who made this game also made the remake for Metroid 2 for Nintendo DS, and I played that. That was an amazing game. And
oh,
look how long it took them to make this one, right?
yeah,
So that was a lot of time. Uh, so if this game continues, like if Metroid continues to sell poorly, especially now, that's going to be a major contributing factor if we get more games, right?
right?
As I said,
Yeah.
Nintendo is really, really, really about money nowadays. It has been for a while. So if they see it and they see poor sales, they're not going to care why. They're just going to, look at the sales and say, okay, no more Metroids. They don't sell well.
Yeah, it's gonna be upsetting. Like, would they end up shit canning Metroid Prime 4 and just saying we're unannouncing Metroid Prime 4? Because that's
Oh,
been in the works for a long time and has
that's,
been restarted. So,
that's something I want to segue into, but I'll
oh,
let you finish your thoughts about
oh
this.
no,
I'll let you
that's
finish about this.
that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think that you should pirate just to pirate. Like, when it comes to having another copy of this game or playing the emulation on PC, support the game because you can physically get it or or support it, get it when you can, because support the game you're trying out. Unfortunately, we're not going to have numbers of pirated versus non-pirated copies, but I hope that the game itself sells on its own merit. I don't want it to be, this game was downloaded, 1 million times, but only sold 500,000 copies, right? Uh, like I can understand piracy, but it's not good. It will make again, you know, companies look at something and go, well, we're not gonna do anything more with this because of this, right? Because of it sold terribly. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So before we go into the next point, I
mm,
want to go back to the last one. So I've been reading this article while skimming through it. So yeah, I think we were both right. We are just saying it in different ways. So you're correct in that they had a legal loophole to um, remove
mm,
the some of the employees'
yeah, just
files as
just the
sexual
ones
harassment.
in the claimant. Yeah.
But I think I think we were both correct. I think I was also right in saying that they they think they could do that, but then the, usually they have to wait 7 days in United States courts for a motion.
Hmm.
It's called apparently ex parte or ex part. I'm not sure
Okay.
how you say the e. Uh, yeah. So, but this was like there is special circumstances where they can fast track it to like immediately, and that's what happened because like this is special circumstances, and like it kind of Blizzard was able to use the loophole, but they weren't supposed to. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's very contradictory, but
Yeah.
it's really hard to I
Very.
think I think
Yeah. Go on.
I think what I'm trying to say, I think was if we were both correct in what we were saying, Chris. We were just on 2 sides of the same coin, pretty
Yeah, I
much.
think we could. Something was blocking our vision or how we were saying things, probably how I was saying things. But anyway, yeah, it seems like they are trying to get that loophole in, but because of how fast they're trying to do it or how fast they're trying to, how fast the other group's trying to stop it, it's it's causing issues. They better not be able to be able to go through this with this buyout because that's it's obviously then 100% like you guys are clearly trying to shut this down as fast as possible, you filthy fucking scumbags.
And basically, it's kinda like this like, I could be wrong, but I think it's like one of those situations where the precedent hasn't been set before, so, like, this sort of situation obviously is very scummy from any angle you view it as, but it's kinda like, "Oh, we didn't
Well,
think about that one alternative of, like, the 7,000,000 possibilities that they could have done," sort of thing,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's probably happened before, I'm sure, because there's obviously, they're going through these steps, but to what extent or how fast or whatever, like for when it comes to gaming news, this is the first time I've heard of this going to, in this route and so much of it happening at the same time. But
Mhm.
it's a legal mess with multiple parties involved and possibly money changing hands.
Yeah.
Legally, I will say, because I'm not gonna say there's shady money being passed underneath tables, but you know, it's it's so messy. Anyway, let's how about some we'll briefly touch on some sadder news, which could be happy for some people.
Uh-oh.
So I believe we talked about Kentaro Miura passing away, and then we talked about the creator, I don't have his name up, creator of Gogolo 13 passing away. There was another gentleman who passed away that I am sad about. The Dragon Quest music composer Koichi Sugiyama passed away at the age of 90. Now, he's also worked on other stuff other than the Dragon Quest series. Like he did some music for Cyborg 99, which I saw. It was a meh kind of series for me. Space Runaway, Adelion. He did the Dragon Quest anime. Uh, Dragon Quest Dai no Boken. I don't remember which game that's based on. And he did some stuff for like Magic Knight's Ray Earth. He scored the live action effects for Godzilla versus Biolante. Well, I had no idea he did so much for music, and I'm sure there's lots of other stuff. But he passed away on September 30th, so yeah, not too long ago, and we just got news of it this week. It sucks. I really like the Dragon Quest music. It's clearly like one like other than the art style, it's probably the second most iconic thing, or the most iconic thing about Dragon Quest is the music. Lots of people love it. And it hasn't changed too much over the years. You don't have much again like to do or much love for Dragon Quest because you haven't played too many of them,
I
but
just got the newest game on sale, like the ultimate edition of the newest game on disc, actually. So
for
um,
the
for my console. So
Xbox.
yeah, for my
Yes, sorry,
Xbox. So
I kind of drew a blank. I'm like, what's it called? Sorry.
so yeah, I plan on playing that too eventually because, and this is a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler, but this is something that like I that makes me want to play this one first. Is apparently when you beat the game, you find out that chronologically in the timeline, this is the first game,
Apparently.
really makes me which really makes me want to play this first because in real life it's the last game, but in the story, or at least like as much of a story as it has with the
Mm,
other games, as close as you can get to that
yeah,
idea, this is the first one
yeah.
apparently. So
So, well, it's a little sad he's departed. Now, some people will see this as sad, like me, and some people, when I heard about this, will think of this as not so sad.
yeah,
Apparently, he's had some very boomer views on things.
I was going to ask you about that. You said some people find it happy.
Yeah, he had some very anti-LGBTQ, uh, LGBTQ plus views, like seeing them as being unproductive because they don't have children, dismiss concerns of suicide rates within those communities. He, oh,
That's just morally wrong. Like, and
yeah,
that's objectively incorrect because they can have children, maybe not biological children. Well, technically, they could even have biological children. You can have children that you adopt. Are those not your children?
yeah, he said some
You know, by
bad
law, those
views.
are by law. Okay, maybe not in Japan,
Oh
but
yeah, we don't know the laws for that in Japan.
maybe not in Japan. I'm pretty sure it's still in Japan, but I can't say for a fact. But at least here, if you adopt a child, by law, it's your child.
Yeah,
Maybe not by blood, but by law,
he
it's
also,
your child.
uh,
And and dismissing suicide rates, like it doesn't matter if they're LGBTQ or not. Like suicide rates are not something you should ever dismiss. Like numbers don't lie, as I said before.
mm,
Like so to dismiss suicide rates is just
yeah,
very passionate and it's morally bankrupt.
yeah,
Like
he also apparently wrote a letter to opposing the U.S. Sorry, I'm reading this for words, so give me a second here. He wrote a letter opposing U.S. House of Representatives Resolution 121 in 2007. The resolution to apologize asked the Japanese government to apologize to comfort women who became sexual slaves for Japanese soldiers during World War II. In the same letter, he denied the occurrence of the Nanking massacre perpetrated by the Japanese Imperial Army. So he's, I don't know, and I haven't looked this up. Oh no, sorry, I'm not gonna say that because I have not looked it up. But he's been on different sides of many things, and a lot of people have issues with what he's saying, as we've seen. I'm sure there's other things he said. Some things apparently he's tried to go back on or not reiterate, but update his stance on things. But I don't have a list of all of them. but he's been back and forth, or not maybe back and forth, but very set on certain views of his. And some people may see his passing as a, hey, maybe now I could play these games with less stigma on them because of
Mm.
his views. But his music's still going to be there. I don't know how people would feel about that. I personally love the music, but didn't know about a lot of this stuff until like I started reading this, going, oh, geez, I don't know about that. So it
It's
sucks.
it's I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, do you boycott the game because of just him? Which you're
Well,
free to do. No, no, hang on, hang on.
yeah,
I'm
I'll
going.
let you continue. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, do you boycott the game because of him? But then you're also boycotting the game that other people have played that have nothing to do with him, except for being
Hmm.
inside the same game's credits, pretty much.
It's
Like you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
yeah,
do
I
you judge the artists with what he does or his beliefs, or do you just take the art or the music in this case and just like judge that by itself? It's really hard to say. I don't
yeah.
have an opinion.
So
So
it's kind of like, do you continue to support the Runa Kenshin manga after you hear about the Runa Kenshin author and what he was almost charged with?
same thing happened with Five Nights.
If you remember that at all.
I actually don't. I actually don't. You'll have to explain where.
Um, the Runa Kenshin manga artist, this was a while ago, so I don't have the article in front of me, but apparently was going to be charged with like a possession of child pornography. I
Not sound
don't know if real or drawn or whatever, because I believe in his manga there is an underage character, the little ninja girl, who I don't believe if she's nude, but like in a lot of manga and that there are this whatever age rating, but their characters are nude, whatever, right? But I don't know if it's because of that or if this was real or if this was a bunch. Like I have no idea to extent, but he's apparently going to be charged. And then he worked with them to not pay or he probably paid a fine, probably worked with them to like not go to prison or be locked away. I don't know the extent of what the conclusion was, but a lot of people after hearing, the charges pressed on him going, I don't know if I could support Rurouni Kenshin anymore because of that. It's like, but I love Kenshin. I love the manga. Like even I was, looked at that going, oh no, that sucks, but I want to support the manga. But this is lots of shade being thrown on such a good manga. It really puts a. I'll just end, saying it really puts a bad stain on something that some people could love
Mhm.
when something like this happens, unfortunately.
Same thing with Blizzard. Like, I bought Diablo 2. I didn't
Mm,
feel correct, but I went back and forth with my decision for a whole month before I bought it. I'm like, fine. So
yeah,
yeah,
that must have been
it's
hard trying to figure out what side you were going to stand. Not
well,
stand on, but sorry, I'm saying that wrong. It must have been hard for you to go back and forth, try to think of, do you want to support people who made the game, but you don't want to support the company? It's really
exactly,
tough trying to come up with that
exactly. Like
stuff.
like if I'm just a developer for the game, I don't I'm not in charge of what corporate does for Blizzard. I'm
Hmm.
just here making the games and programming or whatever I'm
Yeah,
doing. So it's like that, and also I promised some friends before any of this Blizzard's controversy came out that I was going to play some Diablo 2 with them, like several friend groups. So I didn't want to back down on that either. So that was
yeah.
the pushing factor, honestly.
Hmm.
Anyways,
We'll go on to something else. You got something else there? I'll let you bring
um,
up another thing. Let's scroll through our news, and I'm just gonna keep talking. Noop, doop, doop. Oh, what else do we have? We've got a couple trailer stuff, but is there anything else we want to bring up? I don't.
um, I think I'm good. I think you had a couple things you linked.
I think the only other thing I can see is the trailer stuff. Oh, right.
The Cowboy Bebop
Yes,
cat.
we'll bring that up with the trailer stuff. But one quick thing, alongside something actually we talked about, I think last week or the week before, with Donkey Kong Land. Apparently, Universal Studios Japan announced a partnership with Pokemon. So we'll get to go to Poke Park
Oh,
sometime in the future.
is anyone surprised at this point? I'm not.
I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. I'm
There you go.
surprised this didn't happen before Nintendo Land. But hooray, Pokepark. So yeah, they're gonna be doing something. They haven't said specifically what it is, but it's universal. They're more likely just gonna do, the Pokemon Land, to go to some Pokemon parks, eat some Slowpoke tail or Slowpoke tail soup or whatever it was in the Pokemon games, which is really weird. Anyway, and just in general in the games, eating Slowpoke tails. Uh,
Yeah, I
but
guess
actually, no, I think that was retconned to it's not eating Slowpoke tail, it's soup or whatever it is being made with Slowpoke tail, so the Slowpokes are using the tails to stir and other things. I could be wrong on that. So they might have
it's
backtracked on that to not make it seem like they're cutting off Slowpoke tails.
one of the Pokédex entries says that Slowpoke tails are considered a delicacy.
Yes, there was that too, yeah. But I don't know if they retracted on that, so that could be a thing. They go, no, 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 that didn't happen. Don't look. I don't know if in the remakes if they kept that in there. Anyway, they're doing alongside Super Mario and Donkey Kong Land, they're doing Poke Park. So I think they're going to be starting it in 2022 because I think Donkey Kong Nintendo Land just launched or Mario Land, whatever. Donkey Kong they've announced. I think they're working on it, and I want to say that the Pokemon ones get started right away because it says multiple projects are underway, and the first is scheduled at some point in 2022. So yeah, there's not much to say. They just announced they'll be making it. So that's like three Nintendo properties that'll be turned into kind of theme park attractions. Now I kind of really want to. I don't like going to theme parks in general, but I'm like Mario and Donkey Kong and Pokemon. Oh my God!
Well,
When do I make my trip to Japan? Is it after our 3 year finished? I'll be like 50 by then.
you better buy that Donkey Kong tie.
Oh, if they have, you know, that tie is gonna be expensive. But when I see that Donkey Kong tie at Universal Japan, I will probably buy it because of that, or maybe some big Donkey Kong gloves. They'll just be reskinned Hulk gloves, really.
I was gonna say, Chris, he's not the Hulk.
Yes, but he has big meaty gloves, and he's.
I don't like how big they made him in Smash. He should not be that big. That's not his canon size in the rest of the
Oh,
games.
really? Is he a bit larger than Mario?
Oh, no, no, he's like the same size. Well, not quite, but like he's slightly bigger.
Okay, I don't know exactly how big, but I don't remember exactly the size of
They
him
made
in
him
Smash.
they made him way too big in Smash.
Oh
Way
wait,
too.
do you think he should be smaller than Mario?
Think of Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
That's his size. That's his first appearance technically.
yeah, but he should be bigger than Mario.
Have you played Donkey Kong Country? He is basically Mario's size, more or less.
I,
Like
I think he
slightly
I think he's bigger than Mario. He said because Mario's tiny.
remember he's like hunchback? He's oh, hang on, I have to
Yeah, I
look at
know what you
myself.
mean. I know how he stands, but I don't
Yeah.
remember the size comparison in Smash. As far as I can remember, it seems fine. But anyway, tangent. I think he should be bigger than Mario. Anyway, um, yeah, they're just doing that. The other two things I had listed here were two trailers. Now, did you get to take a look at the Ari and well, actually, it would be three
Someone
things, but we'll talk about the one thing that isn't a trailer, but kind of ties into. Wait, we didn't talk about it, did we? I think we forgot to. Cowboy Bebop trailer, not trailer, technically the Cowboy Bebop intro dropped. The Netflix live action
oh, I
trailer,
did not
or not
see
trailer,
that.
intro dropped. Oh, you didn't see it. So go ahead and if you want to take a look at it. I will talk for a bit on what I've seen in it and what
Okay,
I
one
think of
sec.
it. So
I must have missed it. Where is it?
I also dropped it in my personal Discord. If you want to see that, it's scrolled up. You'll have to scroll up a bit.
You posted it in the podcast
I
Discord. I'm
do
not
believe so as well.
you
If
don't or you
I
did?
do believe I did, but if not, go check the personal my personal one and scroll up. Okay?
What am I looking for again?
Cowboy Bebop live action intro.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on either server.
You might maybe go take a look at it on YouTube thing.
I see the Resident Evil one you put on both. I don't
It would have been
see.
like a bit above that because I think it came out like the week or two
So
before. We like skipped over it and I forgot about it.
right above that is Gungrave, which we talked
That keep
about.
going up.
River City Two Girls,
Up.
and then oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a ways up. We like skipped on it and
I
forgot.
thought I thought this was something you just posted like since our last podcast.
Oh no, sorry. It was just something we passed. Anyway, you go ahead and watch it. I don't think it's that long. It's like the same old music, but I'll tell you what I thought. So it this intro really shows that a lot of the characters really look like cosplayers. As sad as it is to say, because everyone comments on how weird a lot of the actors in that look in these outfits, like just a little off-putting. They look like um almost like cosplayers. And when you see what's his name with the white hair? Oh, I just hit my headphones. Vicious, that's his name. He really looks like a cosplayer, and it's probably because of the hair. The hair looks really, really weird. And the obvious reason is because they want that scene where Spike and Vicious are squaring off on each other. His hair falls into his face. You know, the really cool looking scene. And I think that's why his hair looks like that. One of the other things I noticed is that they do a lot of live action mixing with animation. And it looks weird to me because I want to say it's the same animation style as the anime. And I think it clashes with the live action. I don't think it looks super bad, but specifically when Smoke at the beginning is smoking, and then you see the cartoony smoke coming out. Maybe if they did a different art style for that, it wouldn't look so bad. And yeah, it's overall, I don't think it looks too bad, but Edward's not in the trailer or in the intro.
Or the show.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be in the show. They did show a bunch of scenes that are probably going to be episodes in this series, like the clown. And
Hmm.
Gen,
The and the computers, the computer guy.
yes, and Gen. If you notice who Gen was in that intro,
I don't know who Ken is.
Gen is the gentleman who had military experiments done to him and ended up with breasts in the end.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
And he maybe not ashamed, but definitely in the show, he kind of like hid the fact that that happened to him because he was always wearing like the suit and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
And it didn't seem like he was proud. Obviously, it's definitely seemed like he wasn't proud of that happening to him. So it looked like he was kind of hiding that fact from a lot of people. So only certain people knew of that being him, right? Or whereas in the intro, they show a very, let me get my thoughts again, a very non-binary look on him who looked very out there and like displaying the fact that he was who he was, right? In terms of his sexuality or in terms of what happened to his body. And I don't know what your thoughts on it, but to me, if they write it well, I don't think that'll be a big deal, but it could be. It depends on how they write it in with his character, right? Um, but that for a lot of people, they were questioning like, why did you do this? This might ruin his character or has ruined the character. What do you think on the entire trailer overall? I think it's kind of it.
I
I think overall it doesn't seem too bad, but it's got me a little bit more hyped for the series in general. But it also makes me go, the costumes for a lot of characters go, I don't know. But I'll let you go on.
I think they did a good job. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to satisfy all the fans. There's always going to be imperfections, but
Hmm.
I don't think we're capable of doing better than this as as a human species. I think this is as good as we're gonna get. It's not perfect. Nothing in life is, but people are gonna bitch about it and complain, which is fine. But honestly, I would like to see anyone else do better than this. It looks really good. I see what you mean by Vicious looking like a cosplayer with his hair. The first thing I thought about when I saw him was not even Vicious. It was a cosplay of Virgil from Devil May Cry. That's that's how fake his hair looked to me. I'm like, "Oh, it's Virgil," because
Hmm.
he's, like, wearing blue, he has a katana, he has white hair. I'm like, "Oh, wait, that's Vicious apparently. Okay."
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely stands out. But I think, them trying to make it look like the anime might have. worked not in their favor. But again, we'll see when everything's in motion. Maybe we'll look better once things are going, or you know, it's yeah, I don't know. There's not much that I want to say. Is there anything else you want to point out? Or
Not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it. It
okay.
and it seems like in this trailer that they're kind of I thought that they were gonna like have like the same characters and all that, sure, but like I thought they're gonna do their own sort of episodes, but
Oh,
seemingly because they're showing all these like minor characters like that one Afro guy and the computer guy with all the televisions, apparently they're just gonna follow it episode for episode
uh,
with the original.
I had
That's my impression of the trailer, right?
yeah, but I had heard that they apparently are going to do their own something, like their own episodes and something like that. Like it's not going to be 100% the show. I had heard, I don't have it in front of me, but I had heard that they are apparently going to do a lot of their own stuff as well. I don't know how much though. So we'll see when it comes out how much of it is the same and how much isn't. So looking forward to it. I can't hope, or can't hope. I can't wait to see it. I hope the build up is to it is good. Or I said that wrong. Wow. I hope it's good. I hope the build up wasn't for nothing. That's more what I want to say. Sorry. And alongside with that, we also got a little bit of news that apparently the when it airs in Japan, they're going to have the original voice actors and actresses come back to do the voices for the dub.
That's good.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I hope it doesn't seem really weird because we watched Death Note live action movies, but we didn't watch them in English. And I think for that they got the English voice actors to redub it. And I don't know
Oh,
how
really?
weird. Yeah, I believe so. Sorry if I'm wrong on that, but I believe they did because I think Funimation dubbed it. So they would have gotten Light and L and all them. But we watched like the series and the movies and that all in Japanese. So we don't have a we don't have views on whether or not it's good or bad. I'm sure the voice cast was really good from what I heard. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's. I hope it doesn't seem too bad. I hope like the merge of like live action with the anime voices. So, but yeah, it's good that they brought them in. I hope it's the full cast for all the episodes that they're going to be doing. I do believe that it's all the main cast for sure. So that's good. That's good. Uh,
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. It seems like there's like it brings some sort of legitimacy to the
mhm.
show by having all the original anime voices um, wanting and willing to do the voiceovers for this. It just seems like very official, you know?
Yeah, it gives that little bit of here you guys go. I mean, people would be upset if they brought in a bunch of other actresses, like different
Yes.
Seiyu, when as long as the original actors are still alive and working, right? If they're gone, you can't do anything about that. But yeah, um, we also had a couple more trailers. The next one I'll bring up quickly because there's not much to say. Did you check out the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City trailer?
Yeah, I had no idea they're making another Resident Evil movie and
Ooh,
it's
you
coming out
didn't?
so no, I had no idea. It's
Oh.
coming out so soon. And apparently they're done with Mila Jovovich. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't kept up with her movies. I saw the first one, I think the second one, but then I haven't watched the rest yet. There's like 6 or 7 at this point. Seems
Yeah.
like they're kind of redoing the movies without her now and
Yep.
kind of doing it more like without a kind of their because she was like her own character. She was never in the game,
Yeah, she was an
whatever.
OC.
She was just like had nothing to do with the game specifically. But it seems like in this trailer they are bringing I don't know if I'm correct in saying this. It's a trailer. They don't say names, but apparently they're just like trying to like one for one with the games, like have the
Kinda.
same
There's
characters and
Chris,
settings.
Jill, uh, Leon. Who's the other girl?
Claire.
Claire and Wesker are, I do believe, all appear in that trailer. They did my boy dirty. Leon isn't Leon. You bastards. That's not Leon. How dare you? My boy. You sullied my boy.
There's only one true Wesker voice actor. You know, back in the day when Maximilian used to do Assist Me,
Yeah.
and then he had this one friend, the cosplayer, do Wesker, and then like he was like the whole Wesker thing, like the whole
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
I love that guy so much. He made the best, and he talked like Wesker too. He had the voice for it. It wasn't just
Mhm.
the looks.
But yeah,
I'm like, that's Wesker right there.
s-
Get this man for the movie.
mm.
He makes his own cosplay too.
So I thought they were going to do more. There, it seems like they're going more in line with the storylines of the games, but also not if you watch it, because look, why is Leon there already? Maybe if they're mixing both games together, kind of to both the one and two at the same time, I guess. But in terms of like the story, that I think it was Jill. I think it's Jill they're talking to. I could be wrong because they didn't say names, but they're talking to her. It's like something's going on in Raccoon City, and you need to find out what's going on. It's like I don't think that's what was happening with Jill or Chris or whoever. I'm like, that's not why they ended up at the mansion and at the police department. So, but they are remaking some iconic scenes. I don't know if this will be good or bad. I hope it's good. Apparently, the director was saying he's not going for actors and actresses that look like the characters. So I hope that means he's going for them because they act like them and not look like them. Sorry,
Huh.
did I say that wrong? He's not going for actors and actresses that look like the characters. He's going for acting ability, I believe is what he was saying.
That's good.
Sorry if I
I,
said that wrong the first time. But I hope that that's true because I can forgive it if Leon acts like Leon because he's supposed to be a young, up and coming, newly minted police officer. First day on the job, and Claire is supposed to be this, uh, almost college student girl, right? Because she's pretty young too. She's like a year younger than Leon, something like that. Anyway, that I hope that they act the parts well. I hope the movie's good because, like you, I watched the first two movies and we're just kind of like when it came to the other, just no, don't want nothing more to do with the series.
I will be massively disappointed because I see they're in the mansion in this trailer. I'll be massively disappointed if they don't include two voice lines. I think I know. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Master of Jill, was it they or was it they? They almost made you a Jill sandwich.
Yes, that's one of them.
And you're the
And the other one?
I don't know the exact line, but it's the Master of Unlocking line, isn't it?
Correct.
So
Correct.
I don't even know if Barry's in this movie.
I doubt it because he's a minor character, and
If he is, I don't know who he is in the trailer. So
I don't think he is because he has a full beard. At least he does in the game.
yeah,
So
yeah. So anyway, the one scene that looks really good, which people would yell at them for if it didn't look good, is the first encounter with the zombie. When you're
they
in a
showed
Yeah, they did,
that.
and it looked really good. Holy
And
crap!
it's like the not the original, but the updated version of the
Mm.
cover of the first game. The original showed Chris really drawn weirdly with
Oh,
a
I
shotgun.
love that.
You know, that was the first
You know,
cover originally. But then
I
the
want those actors back for the live action movie. Bring them
yes,
back.
I miss what Resident Evil was originally going for, a very live action survival
Yeah,
horror instead of
American survival horror.
that intro, the original intro with the real actors.
Oh, I love it so
Like,
much.
it's
It's
so good. It's so bad it's good, like the Mario movie.
yeah, but yeah,
I love
that
it so much. It's so good.
but
I love it.
but that remake, the one shot that they showed of the zombie turning around, I'm like, oh, that is building up a lot just in that one scene. Like
That that zombie looks good.
it does. So I will probably watch this first one. And we'll see where it goes from there, right? So it looks cool, and
Is is
yeah,
is this something we should watch when it comes out and kind of report back?
I I know we're gonna watch it. When we'll watch it, I don't know. I don't even know if this is hitting theater or if this is gonna hit streaming services right away. I don't think the trailer says, but
It says November 24th, I think in
oh crap.
theaters.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to look out. We'll see if it's out in theater. I'm not watching it right away. I'll wait till it hits a streaming service or until
Okay.
I can rent it online because um, if as much as I can, I don't want to go to theaters at all ever again. So, but yeah, if we're done on
You
that,
say
we can talk about the last one.
you say ever again, so that does that mean just, like, even beyond the pandemic?
Yes,
Okay. Why is
I
that? 'Cause that's
um
something to do with the pandemic, so I'm wondering what your reason is.
I don't like going to theaters. I don't like being near a lot of people in general. You know this, but it that has nothing to do with theater, really. I don't want to spend $20, $25 to go see a movie and then have them go. spend $10 on a drink and $10 on this bag of popcorn and then have to sit in a theater next to people who are munch, 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 eating things when I could just sit at home and watch the movie with my own surround system and invite the people that I like over to watch this movie. I would rather do that. That's more comfortable. It's in a better space. I don't have to worry about, stepping on God knows what that's sitting all over the theater floor, things like that, right? The horror stories you hear from theaters or having someone accidentally kick the back of your seat because they gotta use the washroom. Just minor inconveniences that you don't get when you're at home. At
So
home,
you
at home you could pause the video whenever you need to and then go off and do what you need, right? It's just things like that. I just don't want
you
to support movie theaters because of the
you
inconvenience.
you don't touch people, but then you miss the opportunity to go, oh.
I
Right?
see what you're trying to do, and I don't have a fake arm for you to extend that onto my screen.
Say that again?
Said,
I
I
didn't
don't have a fake arm that we could pretend to have heat scroll onto the screen.
I
We're
I
not,
hope I did that correctly because because
you
because the
did, you did.
Discord is okay,
You stretched the right way.
okay, okay.
But yeah, he tried to, for those who are listening to the podcast, tried to do the old yawn and stretch his arm over my shoulder to, the old play there. But yeah,
I couldn't tell if the camera was, like, reversed or not, so hopefully
oh no,
the 50/50 went through,
it,
correct.
it worked. It's just we're not in the same room, so you cannot do
Yes.
that. But yeah, I just don't want to support theaters if I can help it. Some movies I will see, but I'd rather not go if I could help it, you know. But one movie though I may have to go to theater to have seen all the others, and I guess it depends on how I feel or if this hits streaming services right away. Because I'm not missing out on this. As soon as I can see it, I will see it. Dragon Ball! Dragon Ball is coming out with the new movie.
Yeah, I
Oh, we
saw
got
the
a new
trailer.
trailer.
I did
I,
not like the trailer.
I'm super hyped. Oh my god, I can't wait to see Pan powering up. I can't wait to see the new villains. I can't wait to see Goku and Broly training together. Oh my god. They didn't show Vegeta in his new outfit, but I can't wait. Holy shit. Anyway, you can talk first because I'm gonna just mark over this.
Um, I didn't like the trailer because until, like, the last, like, maybe third of it approximately, it felt like it legit felt like an intro to one of the, like, pachinko only video games or whatever they have, those Dragon Ball things, like, you put a card in that, and then, like, it's like very uncanon, because it has, like, custom fighters and characters only made
Mm,
for the games.
I see what you
That's
mean.
that's that's what it felt like for the
It felt
first
it felt
weeks.
like maybe it
It was
was like a trailer for the next Xenoverse DLC or
Yeah,
something.
like, I knew I was watching a movie trailer. I'm like, this does not feel like a movie to me. I'm sorry. Like, there's too many new characters and, like, new, like, this is supposed to take place, I'm assuming, after I know the manga's ongoing, and there's, like,
Mm,
we've talked about before, the two of us, but it seems like to me this movie is supposed to take place, like, right after when the anime paused. I don't say stopped, I say paused, but I can't tell because it's Dragon Ball Super. It's a super
mm,
movie, right? So that would seem to imply that it's in the Super universe, right? But then, like,
kinda.
the first 2 movies in Super, whoops, Beerus and Frieza, they were canon.
Yep.
So this one doesn't seem very canon to me. I don't know, because of all the new shit that's going on. That was not in any of the manga, right?
Yeah. So this takes place after the new Broly movie because Broly's in the trailer for a split second. You see him, and it shows. So Broly's not in. I don't believe he's in the manga. He's not in the anime. So is this another because where the movies continued on and they have their own continuity, like the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies? Like some of the movies don't cannot take place in the continuity of the anime, but if you were to tweak some things, they could. So Broly could possibly happen. It's just not in the anime. This takes place after the anime. Um, I do not know if this is in the Dragon Ball Super or the Super Dragon Ball Heroes universe or not. They haven't showed enough yet. Because the name of this movie is Dragon Ball Super Heroes Hero Mission. No, sorry, Dragon Ball Superhero. So because they're putting in superhero or putting a hero in the title, I wonder, is that what that means? Or are they referring to Goku or one of the kind of bad guys they showed in the movie being maybe turning into a hero? I do not know. So the trailer shows potentially, or more likely, who the new villains are. Not, but I'm using "new" in big air quotes because it's the Red Ribbon Army. They're back,
Huh.
and if you didn't notice, the Red Ribbon Army seems to have continued to live in the form of lots of they probably had their hands in lots of many things to make money, right? And one of them was apparently a fast food joint because in I watched this trailer like 10 times, pausing at every frame, looking at them. So, as I would do. And in the specifically early in the trailer, when they're in the limo and the Red Ribbon Army guy's talking to the short guy, who I want to believe is Commander Red's like great grandson or grandson, because he's short like him. So that's why I'm kind of piecing that together. He's holding a cup with the Red Ribbon Army logo on it, and it's a fast food cup because in his other hand, he has a lid with a cardboard straw, kind of like what A&W uses. So I'm like, so they have a fast food restaurant canonized in Dragon Ball Super? Because we don't see that in the animes at all. So anyway, Red Ribbon Army's back. They seem to be hiring possibly two heroes or two mercenaries that look similar. I don't remember their names, but they're like one and two. Like that's part of their names, like what something one and something two. And they seem to be hired out as part of the Red Ribbon Army. Maybe they're created by the Red Ribbon Army, but they're working for them. They have the logos on their arm, and they're potentially being sought out to fight against. Well, we'll assume it's Goku again, because who else would the Red Ribbon Army be fighting against, right? So it seems to be them. I don't know who the superhero they're referring to it as. It's either going to be Goku or it's going to be one of those guys who I think turns on the Red Ribbon Army. I don't know yet. They don't show too much in terms of that. Just speculation, a lot of things uh, on my end. Uh, but yeah, they show Goku and Broly training together. And like you said, a lot of new characters that they never showed before. And wondering, is this in the Super Universe? Is this in the Heroes universe? Which universe does it take place in? We don't exactly know because of the title and the new characters they show.
Even the title and the very the
Mm.
first few seconds just really reminds me of a game intro,
It
and
is,
I can't get over that. It
yeah,
just seems too gamish to
but
me.
part of it could be because it is all 3D. There might
Oh,
be,
is
yeah, there might be some
huh?
2D animation, but I do believe this is the first 100% 3D animated Dragon Ball movie. So they
So,
did it. Sorry, go on.
question: When you say 3D, just so I understand you, 3D as in I need to wear glasses, or 3D like you don't need to wear
Oh,
glasses?
the
Like
3D,
kind of like Berserk was.
the Berserk. No three, not 3D as in 3D. I'm holding my hand up to the camera back and forth to simulate 3D. No, 3D as in 3D models, 3D animation, 3D backgrounds, kind of like a video game. And that's probably why you look at it and go, "This looks like a video game," because it's CG 3D. So no glasses, it's just 3D animation.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe it's 100% 3D. They did a teaser of this a while ago where they showed Goku. It was a nothing trailer, but it was the first sign we've seen of Goku doing like his martial arts poses, but it was all 3D. People are like, "This looks really weird," and I didn't think it looked weird because they didn't show too much of it. In this, it's it might look a little weird, but this is something I was hoping they do. When I first saw the Tenkaichi Budokai games, I saw the 3D models reenacting scenes from Dragon Ball, going, oh, "That looks so cool! Why can't they redo the entire series in 3D?" Right? So I've been looking forward to them progressing into 3D, just as long as it looks good. So I hope this looks good. It really has me hyped for what they can continue with the series. maybe we won't get so much bad animation out of this because now they'll have set 3D animation, or sorry, they'll have set 3D models now, so you can't really get away unless if they tweak models, kind of like what they do in Dragon Ball Fighters, how they make certain hands look bigger just to make the dramatic elements look dramatic. But they maybe there won't be animation errors or color errors and things like that because they'll be set to models now. I don't know. I'm excited.
I don't really have much else to add. That's about it for that specific topic, at least. Like, I'll watch it. I hope it's good, but I am not very impressed with the trailer. I didn't like it very much.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. A lot of people see it the same way as you, like, oh, that animation looks a little weird, or why didn't they just go 2D again? And I don't like them putting CG in a 2D video. And then you tell them, it's like, there was CG in the last three movies, right? Right? Because there's obviously 3D being enhanced for the special effects and some of the fight scenes in the Broly movie. But anyway, lots of people share your views. I'm sure a lot of people share mine. It'll be interesting to see when it comes out how good it is. So I wonder if there's gonna be like another villain that shows up or a different hero that shows up or something. I don't know. It's interesting.
I would have preferred if they just had like another big bad they have canonized, but I guess they can't because the manga is actually because originally for Beerus, I'm pretty sure the movies came up before the manga. Now it's the other way
Hmm.
around. The manga is coming up before the movies, so
Yeah,
I guess they're stuck doing it this way now.
if they even when they continue the anime, are they just going to continue with the next arc, which I believe was the Moro arc? So Broly doesn't happen in the manga, I believe. So this is continuing off as the Dragon Ball Super, yes, the Dragon Ball Super movies. So that's canon, not canon, but not canon, not canon. Separate timeline, I guess you could say. Which we don't want to get into that discussion of how many timelines exist in Dragon Ball. So there's so many. So anyway, I'm excited. You are weary. You'll probably watch it at some point.
Weary isn't the right word. I'll
Weary?
watch it. I'll watch it. As I said, I don't. I'm gonna watch it,
Hmm.
but I am not impressed by the trailer. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. I
So
get you.
I'll save my judgment for when I see the movie.
Hmm.
But
I
the
think that's
trailer,
said for like a lot of things, but for a lot of those trailers we've been watching and such. We'll save final judgment for when it's out. But of course, me, I see Dragon Ball. I give money to Dragon Ball. Unfortunately, it is a curse. But I think that might have been it overall, unless if there's something I missed.
no, I think that's everything.
Awesome. But so I think that's going to be it for us this week. If you want to follow me, I stream on Twitch when I can for on this channel, but that will be Prince_Kaboom on Twitch, and I'm at on Twitter SCHABANG. That's at C Shebang. That's my Twitter. I just post lots of stuff for toys and kaiju and other things that I think are funny. And you? Where can they find you?
Same handle on Twitch and Twitter. Zorb_Zex. And then I stream on Twitch typically Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Um, I have bonus streams on sometimes on the weekend, just like the Final Fantasy X one I talked about at the very start. And yeah, I may be increasing the days coming up. We'll see.
Ooh,
But
okay.
yeah, we'll see.
Hmm. We'll
That's
see.
that's
And I guess I'll see you next week, Sean, and we'll see you guys next week, or you guys will hear from us next week, depending on where you are hearing or watching this. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
take care.